Hi, Jacob.
Hi.
Hello, welcome to our Homestead channel. My name is Crystal. Today I am putting up the trellis for our kiwi plants. I tried to come up with a trellis using the materials that we already have, but also making it look pretty, and it just wasn't going to be possible. I could make something, but it wasn't going to be something I was going to be happy with, and knowing how things go around here, I need to do it right the first time or else it's going to stay that way for a while. We ended up going to Tractor Supply and I picked up a 16-foot cattle panel, and it was about 25 bucks. We folded it into the back of Steve's truck. He has a 6.5-foot bed, and the way that we folded it, we could have fit many more cattle panels. So I might do that again in the future to make some trellising for peas and beans and things like that for in our garden. But for now, we only needed the one, so I just got that. I already have several T-posts left over from other projects. I will be using those to help fasten the cattle panel down. I also might just try using some garden staples. That we have the long 6-inch ones, but there's a lot of rock over here and I don't know if I'll be able to do that. So I'm gonna kind of make it up as I go, and we'll see how it turns out in the end. But the kiwi plants are doing really well. They're growing extremely fast, so I was felt like I was in a hurry to get this trellis up. I'm gonna end up doing an arch over this rock here in the middle. I think it will look nice. If it doesn't, I'll take it down and come up with something else. We are on a little bit of a slope. We're going downhill this way. I'm gonna arch the trellis so that it doesn't look kind of lopsided. I'm just going to kind of let it organically bend where it's going to do it, and then just leave it like that, and hopefully it will look nice. I'm trying to avoid having to trim the cattle panel. It's 16 foot long, like I said, and that would make it about an 8-foot angle on each side. So I'm just going to kind of let it arch where it arches and try and clean it up once it's up. I was a little nervous that the 16-foot cattle panel would be too high, but it's not at all, and I think it will look nice at the end of the garden here. With all of that, before I forget, if you give this video a thumbs up, we really appreciate it, and we'll get started. Okay, so I'm done. It actually was pretty easy. I had to have Steve's help a couple times because if you've ever worked with a 16-foot cattle panel, they're kind of awkward when you're trying to put them into position of how you're doing things, and they can get kind of heavy because they're so awkward. So I had to have him hold it in place a couple times while I tried to put the T-post in. But the first thing I did was I brought it over and I angled it in a way that I could stand it up, and then I used the landscape staples, the 6-inch ones, and I tacked them down just to keep the cattle panel in place while I put it into the position that we wanted it. Then I grabbed 4 T-posts and I put 2 of them in. I wanted to do 1 in each corner, but I couldn't do that because we have a lot of rock over here, and I needed to, from memory of me using the crowbar over here, kind of remember where there weren't many rocks. And I did 1 in the middle, hoping that would be enough to keep it stable, but I realized I definitely needed 1 in the front too. I put 4 T-posts in, fastened the cattle panel to the T-posts using UV resistant black zip ties, and then I tried to work it so that it would be even because it's on such a slope. We're going down this way and it's coming down this way, so I had to lift up the new arch so that it would look mostly even. I did the zip ties all the way up and down to keep the cattle panel in place. Once that was done, I spray painted them black. It's not in the neatest fashion, but it cleaned them up a little bit. We recently did a little decoration project of hanging a wind chime using a older U-post, and we spray painted the U-post black to match the hanger, and it looks really nice. So we decided to use the spray paint and spray the T-post as well, just to clean it up a little bit. Not in the neat way, just quickly to cover up the green and tan paint that was already on it. The last thing I did was I untwined the kiwi vines from the trellis that they came with, and then I just kind of loosely wrapped them up the new cattle panel, and we'll see how they do on that. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I actually used it to fasten, our deer fence was slouched down on this side, so I actually zip tied it to the top of the cattle panel, so it's all flat and nice nice and neat. It's certainly not one of my most perfect projects, that's for sure. I'm not a huge fan of the fact that I have a T-post in the middle as opposed to the ends. There's certain things you gotta pick what you're gonna be stressed about, and I'm not gonna try and move a bunch of rocks underground right now. I'd rather just get this up. That was a pretty easy project and fairly inexpensive. The cattle panel was $25. When I was looking up trellises on Amazon and Gardener Supply and things, we were looking at hundreds of dollars. So for 25 bucks, I get a really decent looking trellis that will last a very long time. So that'll do it for this project. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. We super appreciate it. And subscribe. It's free and we would love to have you. And we will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.